So back to business this week for the teams out in the Championship after, of course, a very, very hectic week out in the Cardiff Cup. Will it be so far so good for Hull City and Luton Town? Will they make it 2 wins from 2? We'll take a little look next. Right, folks, back once again with another prediction video today. Looking forward to match day number 2 out in the second tier, out in England, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been, boys? Smash your subscribe and get your bang up today with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one rooski, that's right, of course. Cardiff Cup action, of course, took the focus this past few days in the midweek, but of course it's now focused back to the domestic leagues then as we gear up for match number 2 out in the Championship. And we'll take a look at all of that in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. They are the Patreons, boys and girls. So thank you for your loving, of course, for the past couple of years and so. So let's get cracking then, shall we? If you are interested in support channel, check out those links down below, patreon.com/roverseats. So here we go, boys and girls. Here we bloody go. Recap, of course, match number 1 predictions, my picks, your picks, to see how we all fared last time around. So here we go. Starting, of course, with last Friday's match. The opening game of the season was Bournemouth. It was up against West Brom. 2-2 was the final score. Goals galore. That's what we wanted to see. But I went with a 2-0 win myself for Bournemouth. I've had a bit of a rough week. Introduction to, of course, the return of the domestic game. So not good across all the leagues. I think maybe League 2 was my best. But anyway, Blackburn Rovers have got themselves off to a fly. We don't win on opening day, but guess what? We won this one. 2-1 win. I'm happy to get that one wrong. Absolutely. I did think that Blackburn Rovers wouldn't lose it. I just felt that I'm not trying to praise Rovers here. I just thought Swansea's new look, new stars, going to take a little bit of time to get used to. And unfortunately, it worked out for us. So 2-1 in the end for Blackburn Rovers, 1-1 for me. Bristol City against Blackpool ended up as a 1-1 draw as well. Got a good start for Blackpool, of course, away from home, getting a first point of the campaign. Cardiff also getting a draw with Barnsley, of course. You would think Barnsley were the happier out of those two clubs there. 2-0 for me for Cardiff. Derby also got themselves a first point of the campaign. Unbeaten as well this start of the season, of course, beating Salford in the Cup, I think on penalties in the end. I went with a 0-0 draw, so not too shabby on that one. Luton Town, they're off to a flyer. They actually dashed off past Peterborough 3-0 in the end. Also, Peterborough crashed out the Cardiff Cup 4-0 as well. As for Rovers Cardiff Cup action, we will try and gloss over that. Preston off an absolute shit start, of course. 4-1 loss to Hull City at home. So a big loss there. 1-1 for me. QPR also got themselves to a stuttered start, 1-1. But I guess we all anticipate a bit of a blip at the start for a lot of these teams. So it's not I don't anticipate Luton Town or Hull City getting promoted. But of course, they probably won this week with, of course, their fantastic start to the season. As for Stoke, a 5-goal thriller for them over Reading. So maybe I'm wrong with anticipating them for a struggle. But of course, a fantastic start for them. 2-1 for me as well. Sheffield United also stuttered with a 1-0 loss at home to Birmingham City. Big win for the Brom on that one. Fulham also just get a point against Middlesbrough, 1-1 at home as well. And Coventry surprised us all with the 2-1 win. Except for me, because I went with a 2-1 win. So not too shabby. Let's take a look at your picks then, shall we, in just a second. Of course, this is what the table looks like. Hull, Luton Town going promoted as it stands. Stoke, Rovers, Coventry and Birmingham make up the playoffs. Let's end it right there. I'll take that all day long. Of course, at the bottom there, Peterborough, Preston and Sheffield United going down as it stands. But of course, it will change very, very dramatically over the next few weeks. Anyway, let's take a look at the leaderboard for this week. This is your picks coming at you. And of course, we have a leader. We have 2 leaders. Theo's up there with 7. Creamy Jordan 15's up there with 7 as well. Iron Stringer, Max Wiggins, Keir Lau, A. Judy up there. Some familiar names from not only this summer, but of course last season. So a tremendous response from you guys on this one. Let's keep it going. Of course, we're going to be here each and every week for this prediction. And of course, make sure you keep an eye on your names. Of course, I've just been looking at the Scottish one, and there's already problems developing over there. So if your name is Theo, make sure it's Theo as you wrote it. No extra space at the end of this. No extra space at the start. No changing of the capital letters. Let's keep it as is. Same for you, Creamy Jordan 15. No space between the Y and J. Keep it as it is. And of course, don't put any spaces between the N and the 15. Iron Stringer, you know the deal. Of course, keep it as it is. Don't go mucking about. A. Judy as well. Just I'm saying that to every one of you. One slight error that you might not even think you're making an error, an extra space at the end, or a lower capital here, or whatever. You know, those little blips make it an absolute nightmare for me. But anyway, let's kick it on forward. Then take a look at, of course, what have we got going on? We got the next match day coming at you, starting right here. But before we get in the deep end, this is we'll get back in there. This is, of course, the link for match number 2 if you want to get your predictions in for the Championship. Of course, I'm recording this on Wednesday, which does have some kind of a Cup action still to be played, but regardless of all that, we're going to jump straight in the deep end and get cracking with match number 2. So kick it all off then, shall we? We've got Peterborough up against Derby County. That's right, taking place on Saturday, August the 14th. Now, I'm going to say this right here and now. I might do a double watch along on Saturday. I don't know. It depends on how things pan out. Definitely going to do Rovers up against Millwall, but we might be doing this game here, Peterborough against Derby County. We'll have to see how everything pans out. But let's get cracking then and have a little look at, of course, this match. They played each other 8 times since 1993. 4 wins for Derby, 2 wins for Peterborough, and 2 draws. Of course, in the dugout, Darren Ferguson, Alex's boy, up against Wayne Rooney. Alex's boy, that's right, of course. They're managing in the dugouts. Of course, the biggest win for Peterborough over Derby was a 3-0 win. The biggest win for Derby over Peterborough was a 3-0 win as well. Last time they played each other at the ABAC Stadium was a 3-0 win for Peterborough back in October 2012. In the Championship, it was match number 13, of course. So far, not so good for either of these two sides. Luton, of course, back-to-back defeats. They conceded 7 goals in the first 2 games of the season. 3 against Luton, 4 against Plymouth in the Cup. As for Derby, back-to-back draws for them. Hopefully, they're going to be trying to kick it off over with them. Of course, everyone's battling against them on this one. 11-10 is your Peterborough. They are your favourites. 13-5 is your draw. 11-5 is your 11-5 is your draw. 13-5 is your away win. That is Derby on this one. I do anticipate another draw for Derby to make it 3 draws on the spin. Peterborough will also be happy with the first point of the campaign. So this two sides played each other 22 times since 1993. 12 wins for Birmingham, 6 wins for Stoke, and 4 draws. The biggest win for Birmingham over Stoke was a 7-0 win. Of course, the biggest win for Stoke over Birmingham was just a 2-0 win. Wow, wow, wee wow, of course. Heading into this, of course, Lee Bowyer in the dugouts up against Michael O'Neill. Last time they played each other at Birmingham was a 2-0 win for Birmingham back in April 2021, the back end of last season. Of course, what are we looking at so far for these two sides in the season? Of course, Birmingham opened up with that 1-0 win over Sheffield. Now, they also beat Colchester in the Cup to stay in the round. As for Stoke, 2 wins for 2 from them, beating Reading 3-2, of course, opening day, and also beat Fleetwood 2-1 to make it through. Don't have any odds on this one, but I'm going to go with a cheeky 2-1 win for the hosts on this one. Birmingham to make it 2 wins out of 2. Fantastic start, and all believing in the Bowyer project. Next up, of course, we have Blackpool up against Cardiff. Take a look at this one, shall we? Of course, all on the 3 p.m. kickoffs over in the UK. Especially the 14 times since 2003, 7 wins for Cardiff, 3 wins for Blackpool, 4 draws. The biggest win for Blackpool over Cardiff was a 3-1 win. The biggest win for Cardiff over Blackpool was a 3-0 win. They've actually scored 23 goals compared to the 16 for Blackpool over the course of those 14 matches, and last time they played each other at Bloomfield Road was a 1-0 win for Blackpool back in October 2014. Okay, not the greatest start in the world for Blackpool. 1-1 draw against Bristol City. They're in action in the Cardiff Cup tonight. As for Cardiff, they also drew opening day against Barnsley at home. They also squeezed by Sutton United in the Cardiff Cup as well. Bookies odds on this one, we have 23-10 for Blackpool, 5-4 is Cardiff. The IFF's 11-5 is your draw on this one. I'm going to go with a home win on this one. Blackpool kicking on and of course making themselves a bit of a presence already out in the Championship. Next, of course, Barnsley up against Coventry City. That's right, taking place over at Oakwell. Of course, Marcus Schopp is your manager for Barnsley. Mark Roberts is your gaffer over in Coventry. Of course, played each other 26 times since 1997. 15 wins for Coventry, 6 wins for Barnsley, and 5 draws. The biggest win for Barnsley over Coventry was a 3-0 win. So a 3-1 win. The biggest win the other way was a 4-0 win for Coventry. Goodness gracious me. Heading into this last time played each other at Oakwell was a 0-0 draw back in September 2020. Barnsley have started off okay with a draw against Cardiff in Wales, but they also crashed out to the Carabao Cup to Bolton on penalties. As for Coventry, not too shabby. Kicked off with a 2-1 win against Forest. Of course, I think they're in action tonight in the Carabao Cup as well. Look at the bookies odds. We have 2019 on you. Barnsley are your favourites. 23-10 is your draw. 3-1 is your long shots. That is, of course, Coventry City. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for the home team as well to make it an impressive start, an unbeaten start in the league campaign. Next, of course, Middlesbrough taking, of course, Bristol City. That's right. Over at the Riverside. Of course, Bristol City managed by Pearson these days. Warnock is causing a bit of a reboot here, maybe for Middlesbrough. Played each other 25 times since 1993. 9 wins for Middlesbrough, 11 wins for Bristol City, and 5 draws. The biggest win for Borough over Bristol City was a 4-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 3-1 win for Bristol City. Last time I played each other at the Riverside was a 3-1 win. So that big one, of course, and that was back in February 2021. Middlesbrough kicked off with a 1-1 draw against Fulham. Not too shabby. Of course, Bristol City also with a draw against Blackpool. Also, they did crash out to the Carabao Cup to Forest Green Rovers, the pesky vegans. That's right. Bookies odds 4-3 on is your Middlesbrough, 12-5 is your draw, 17-4 is your Bristol City. They are your underdogs, and I think they're going to be their underdogs in my eyes as well. 2-0 win for the Borough. Next up, of course, we have Millwall taking, of course, Blackburn Bloody Rovers. That's right, taking place at the Den. Gary Rowett, your gaffer for Millwall. Tony Mowbray is your manager for Blackburn Rovers, of course. Played each other 14 times since 2012. 7 wins for Rovers, 3 wins for Millwall, 4 draws. Of course, the biggest win for either two sides was a 2-0 win. Rovers scored 19 goals compared to the 12 by Millwall in those 14 matches. Heading into this last time played each other at the Den was a 2-0 win for Rovers. In fact, you're going to go, it's actually back-to-back wins for Rovers. They did the double over Millwall last time round. Millwall just 1 win in 6 over Rovers. Of course, Millwall starting off What are we looking at here? Not too shabby, actually, with a draw against QPR on the road. They also beat Portsmouth in the FA Cup, in the Cardiff Cup, to make it through to the second round. Astros, a win against Swansea, not too shabby there, but of course, a crashing out to Morecambe, and the less said about that, the better. Bookies odds on 75 for Millwall, 2-1 is your Rovers, and 94 is your draw. Of course, no longer Adam Armstrong on the books, but I'm going to go with a cheeky 1-1 draw. I'll take that all day long to make an unbeaten campaign for Blackburn Bloody Rovers. Next, of course, Reading up against Preston. Two sides, of course, nursing after the first defeats of the season. Of course, Preston managed by Frankie McAvoy. Of course, Reading managed by Veceko Pernovic. Played 28 times since 2002, 14 wins for Reading, 10 for Preston, 4 draws. The biggest win for Reading over Preston was a 5-1 win. The biggest win the other way was a 3-0 win for North End. And that 3-0 was the last time they played at the Matchday was back in November 2020. Last time that Reading beat Preston was a 2-0 win at Deedale in 2019, of course. Reading opening day lost to Stoke 3-2 loss. They also lost to Swansea in the Cardiff Cup 3-0 at the Matchday, conceding 6 goals in the first 2 games. Not too great. As for Preston, they did bounce back with a 3-0 against Mansfield, but they also opened up the game with a 4-1 loss at home to Hull City. Of course, bookies odds on this one. What do we have? We have what do we have on this? 23-24 Reading, 11-5 is draw, 5-2 is your Preston North End on this. I'm going to go with a 2-0 for Reading to bounce back ability. Of course, kick on from there. Clean sheet to boot as well, which of course they'll be looking forward to that. Next, of course, we have Huddersfield up against Fulham. That's why a couple of seasons ago this might have been in the Prem. Played the 14 times in 1999. 1 win for Huddersfield, 10 wins for Fulham, and 3 draws. The biggest win for Fulham over Huddersfield was a 5-0 win. The biggest win in the other way was a 1-0 win, of course, for Huddersfield. Huddersfield have actually scored just 10 goals against Fulham in those 14 matches, where Fulham have actually scored Fulham have actually scored 31 goals, around about 2.21 goals a game ratio. Anyway, heading into this last time, Huddersfield was a 2-1 win for Fulham back in 2019. Of course, Huddersfield opened up their campaign. What have they opened up the campaign with? A penalty win over Sheffield Wednesday to make it through to, of course, the Cardiff Cup second round. They also drew with Derby to make an unbeaten start to the season. As for Fulham, also drew with Middlesbrough, also taking place in the Cardiff Cup action tonight. A quick look at the bookies odds on this one. We have 7-2 for Huddersfield, 94 is draw, 11-10 on is your Fulham on this one. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Fulham on the road to make it another win in the column for them over Huddersfield. Next, of course, Hull City, the current leaders, I believe, up against QPR. Of course, play chase taking place at the KCOM, aka the MKM Stadium. Mark Warburton's your manager at QPR, Grant McCann's your manager over at Hull. Played for the 18 times since 2005, 7 wins for Hull, 4 wins for QPR, and 7 draws. The biggest win for Hull over QPR was a 4-0 win. The biggest win for QPR over Hull was a 2-0 win. Heading into this, last time I played at the KCOM, was a 3-2 win for QPR back in October 2019. Heading into this, of course, Hull are already out of the Cardiff Cup, losing on penalties to Wigan, but they also opened up the campaign with a 4-1 win over Hull in the league. As for QPR, with a 1-1 draw against Millwall in action tonight, I think, in the Cardiff Cup as well. 7-4 on is your Hull, 11-5 is your draw, 8-5 is your QPR. Very, very tight margins on this one. Smells like a draw. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw on this one. Okay, so Nottingham Forest taking, of course, Bournemouth then, of course, bit of a zing in this one. Played for the 13 times in 2005. They couldn't be separated. 4 wins apiece, 5 draws. Of course, 3-0 win was the biggest win for Forest. 4-1 win for Bournemouth was the biggest win for them over Nottingham Forest as well. Houghton in the dugout up against Scotty Parker. 2 of the finest managers used in this division. Last time they played at the City Ground was a 0-0 draw back in February 2021. Nottingham Forest coming into this on the back of a 2-1 loss to Coventry, of course, in the Cardiff Cup action tonight. Bournemouth coming into this after a 5-0 win over Milton Keynes, also a 2-2 draw against West Brom as well. Bookies odds on this one, we have 11-4 for Forest, 11-5 is draw, 11-10 is your Bournemouth. They are your red hot favourites on this one. I'm going to go with a win for the Bournemouth, the favourites as well, 2-1 win to take the 3 points to make it an unbeaten start to the campaign. Next, of course, West Brom up against Luton, also unbeaten so far. What did they do in the Cup? They played Luton Town, of course, 11 times since 1994, 6 wins for the Baggies, 2 wins for Luton, and 3 draws. Of course, the biggest win for either 2 sides was a 2-0 win. Last time they played at the Hawthorns was a 2-0 win as well back in February 2020. West Brom kicked off with a 2-2 draw against Bournemouth in the league, yet to get going in the Cup. As for Luton, of course, crashed out to Stevenage 3-0. Goodness gracious me, I think that was that after penalties, but they opened up the campaign against Peterborough with a 3-0 as well. So not too shabby. The bookies odds, we have 6-4 on is your Baggies, 11-4 is your draw. 4-1 is your Luton Town on this one. Of course, Luton Town did score some goals, but I think they're going to lose this one. Do I? I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw. Goals galore still, and maybe a bit of a stuttered start there for the Baggies on this one to make it 2 draws on the spin. And then finally, it'll be Swansea City taking on Sheffield United. This is the late kickoff, I'd say, over the Championship. Played each other 9 times since 2007. 5 wins for Swansea, 3 wins for Sheffield United, and there's been 1 draw, of course. This takes place at the Liberty. The biggest win for Swansea over Sheffield United was a 4-0 win. The biggest win the other way was a 2-0 win. Sheffield United only scored 7 goals against Swansea in those 9 matches, which is around about 0.78 goals a game ratio. Last time they played each other in Wales was a 1-0 win for Swansea back in January 2019. Of course, Swansea kicked off the campaign with a loss to Blackburn, of course, but they picked themselves back up with a comfortable win at Reading, 3-0 win in the Cup. As for Sheffield United, they did lose to Birmingham, bounce back ability though against Carlisle on this. Bookies odds 2-1 for Swansea, 7-5 is your Sheffield United, and 11-5 is your draw. Tough one, this one. Going to go with a draw on this. 1-1 in the end. That's my thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts, of course, as we look forward to this one. And of course, be sure to get your picks in right here at Cutley/champ number 2. That's of course match number 2 out in the Championship. That's it, my friends. Be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe. I look forward to seeing you, of course, next time around when we look forward to match number 3, which of course I think it is a double match week next week. So we look forward to that. Until then, give the video some love and smash your thumbs up. I'll see you soon for the next one. Check out the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Of course, the Discord is wide open. And again, if you want to support the channel in another way, check out the links to the old Patreon, patreon.com/Rovers. Until then, we're done.